No one cares about TV news anymore. No one watches Fox News or BBC. No one really watches CNN. Everyone is watching podcasts and shows like yours truly's. The world is as usual fucked up. This show should just be me coming out going, well done world, you fucked up everything. Good night. But no, we got to drag it out for 10 minutes at least. So let's begin with some music. I'm Atul Mishra. Let's start with Asia first. Democracies turn into establishments over time, and parties in a two-party democracy turn into an extension of each other, kind of like two brothel keepers in a red light district. Technically competitors, but in the same line of business. Thailand has seen this happening for long, and people have answered. The ruling Thai party is losing the elections, and the main opposition, led by the ex-king's daughter, isn't winning either. A third party called Move Ahead is literally moving ahead, and its poll promise is draining the swamp and destroying the establishment. US could learn a thing or two from Thailand. A Trump-less Republican party will pave the path for a third party because the Democrats are dead as a doornail in Hunter Biden's bedroom. Some addicts are also nature lovers. They have an insatiable fondness for euphoric experiences and hence a fascinating symbiotic relationship with marijuana plants. The plant gets love and care from the addict, and the addict gets the high. China and Russia are in a similar symbiotic relationship. China gets clout and protection from Russia, and Russia gets the economic high. But Russia is thinking of going clean and has opted for a much cleaner holy basil, India that is. Seeing China's rising influence in Central Asia, Russia is playing its India card. Recently, Russia announced a new trade corridor with Iran to assist Indian trade to start with Kazakhstan. Russia has officially started prioritizing Indian friendship over its comrade, China. When two drunkards engage in a bar fight, it's the bar that suffers. Confrontation-loving Russia is our bar fighter number one, and the US that lives off of confrontations is our bar fighter number two. And the bar? Well, the bar is Japan, which is about to get its bar stands, stools, counters, and cabinets shattered. NATO's buildup had immensely increased in Japan. Russia senses danger in its Far East, so it has now deployed its newly built nuclear-capable submarines in Sea of Okhotsk. Oh dear Japan, why do you allow foreign boots in your sweet, sushi-loving nation? Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi is a strange man. I mean, who goes to other countries and proves that he is more popular than their own presidents and prime ministers? Such was Prime Minister Modi's welcome in Australia that Aussie Prime Minister Albanese called him the boss of the world. Biden also chimed in by saying that even people in America love him. Thanks, Joe. How does it feel to have a 30% approval rating in your own nation despite having a 500 decades experience in active politics? Let's move to Europe now. Some are category C morons, the occasional morons. Some are category B morons, the morons. And some are category A morons, who are a different level of moron. These rascals put fingers in fans to stop it, touch a live wire to check current strength, and hit hammer on their heads to estimate the impact strength of their craniums. Germany is category A moron. They fought World War I, World War II, numerous wars with NATO, invited migrant crisis to their country, and these days they are being swept away in Ukraine tide. Regular countries will take a step back, but Germany? No sir, not Germany. Germany in its heroic rhetoric has warned Hungary that it will finish off Budapest by taking legal action against Hungary's OTP Bank, which is the largest commercial bank in Hungary, if it continues to block Ukrainian war efforts. So what will happen next? Hungary will threaten to leave the EU. EU members will get into a huddle and will declare Germany a Category C moron yet again. A war was going on. There was chaos all around. Europe was getting impoverished. But one nation was counting its money, and that nation is Greece. Now, some intellectuals will call Greece evil. Fuck you, intellectuals, and fuck your evil tags, because Greece was being fucking smart. It sanctioned some $1 million worth of Russian assets purely for show and kept its dialogue channel open with Russia. It didn't stop its sea trades with Russia. Hence, Greece is in a much better position than all EU nations. And the man who made it possible was Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis. All poll pundits predicted his electoral demise, but the Prime Minister is back with a bang. Realpolitik always prevails. So Biden called all EU nations and commanded them to impose a fresh round of sanctions on Russian oil and gas. EU nations yawned and bid him farewell. Seems like Europe has stopped clapping on Biden's unfunny jokes. So Marine Le Pen, an outsider, storms to French politics and threatens to drain the swamp. French elites tolerate her for some time, but eventually they decide to cast her out. Both the ruling and the opposition French parties have agreed that Le Pen's nationalistic rhetoric and pro-Russia outlook is not good for the New World Order, and most importantly, she keeps denying to join their exclusive "You scratch our ass, we'll scratch yours" club. Someone asks you for your money. You say, "No, I won't give it to you." They say, "In that case, I will kill you." So what will you call this type of person? A murderer? A ruffian? Right? Wrong. It's called Volodymyr Zelensky. Apparently, the Ukrainian dictator Volodymyr Zelensky is threatening to get some Ukrainian oligarchs off this planet because they are not assisting Ukraine with money. And the liberal world loves him. Liberals once stuck their moral compasses deep inside their asses, and they have never taken it out. Let's talk about the Middle East. Who are we? NATO. What do we want? Wars. Where? Everywhere. When? All the time. I'm not even exaggerating. Picture this. Ukraine is burning. NATO is increasing its presence in Sea of Okhotsk. NATO is trying to put Lebanon on the war stove. NATO is quietly disturbing the Balkan nations. NATO is busy trying to turn the Finland-Russia border into a war zone. And now NATO fleets of France, US and UK were in Strait of Hormuz to block Iran's oil from Bandar-e-Abbas that accounts for 1/5 of world's total oil supply. Now, if Iran drowns one of their ships, Iran will be the bad guy. I hate Iran for their human rights records, but only NATO can make me side with Iran. Israel and Iran need to chill. They are back to "I will kill you, you bastard" rhetoric. "I will kill you, you bastard" has in fact become an annual event between Iran and Israel. Agreed, there are differences. Agreed, there are problems, but there is always a way around. If Arabs and Israelis can become friends, if Syrians and Israelis can become friends, if Arabs and Iranians can become friends, what's stopping the Israelis and Iranians from becoming friends? Now, being an Indian, I don't want to sound like a hypocrite. Pakistan and India will be friends too. We are just waiting for Pakistan to implode fast so that we can reclaim what has always been ours. Anyway, let's move to North America. Canadians are mining legends. Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador thinks he is a legend killer. So he has decided to make life difficult for Canadian mining companies in Mexico. Miners now have to pay 10% of their revenues from mining to inhabitants of the area as a part of Green Deal. Trudeau is unhappy. But why? Trudeau is the chlorophyll of global politics, the green pigment that loves all things green. Trudeau tried to school Meloni on LGBTQ rights in a meeting held on the sidelines of the G7 summit. Meloni was supposed to be ladylike and nod in acceptance. She flicked her beautiful hair, threw a gaze from her piercing eyes, and called Trudeau a fool who is deceived by fake news and warned him not to challenge Italy's domestic policies. Trudeau was last thrashed by Xi Jinping in a global summit, and now Meloni. All these G5s, G7s, G20s, G69s should have a post-meeting bash Trudeau session as the official closing ceremony. So I was wrong. Actually, a lot of good things happened this week. The world got to see Joe Biden as a sore loser. President Biden is clearly the worst thing to happen to America after Vice President Biden. Trudeau got taught the dignity of doing the right thing. Germany made news for its controversial decision about a Hungarian bank. So the week was a harmonious blend of fuck-ups and wins. And isn't that what life is? Some fuck-ups and some wins. Here's to less fuck-ups and more wins. Cheers.